So there's a big shadow under here, so I'm going to block that in. Start separating this fold from that area. Okay. And here there's another dark area where the fabric kind of dips, a valley. Okay, so I'm going to add that in. This is a fold. Actually, I do have a hard edge. This fold here is a hard edge. A little darker under here. A little darker under there. A little darker under there. Okay. Oh, done. Whew. Good. Turn that in. She'll give me an A. Right? No, right? I'm not nearly done. Okay. Second layer. I've got a lot more layers to go, right? And really develop this, work this through, add a lot more. I've got some blending to do. This stops a little bit too suddenly. I'm going to have to blend this in to make it a no edge. I'm going to have to break this down, clarify it a lot. Okay, and on and on and on. So that's all I wanted to demonstrate for you guys right now. Got to kind of I did the gesture drawing demo. I did the blocking in, which is going to be a breeze compared to blocking in the vases and apples and bowls and right that you guys have been working with. So that's one thing I want you guys to feel in this is the freedom and liberty. You don't have to worry about structure so much in this. It's really about fluidity, keep a sense of movement, flow in this. That's what's important. Okay, not so much structure. Everybody see kind of, and I want you to kind of feel that throughout the process. Keep that in mind. This has got to look like it can move. Imagine if you stare at it enough, the folds are going to feel like they're just going to flow and move. Okay. All right, I'm just going to show you a couple of examples. I have some more that I'll locate later and show you during break. So I don't know if you guys can see, especially Marshall and Diane. I think you guys need to come up closer. Emily. Okay, of course a master in this is Leonardo da Vinci. I'll show them to you, but they're really best appreciated close up. This is done on a toned gray sheet of paper. Back in the Renaissance, unlike today, they didn't have white paper. The white paper today is bleached. Actually, you can make your own paper, and when you make your own paper, it always comes out a gray like this. Okay, so he's working with charcoal and a white piece of charcoal. So again, I think you can see. I don't even know what to say. I'm almost speechless, right, when you look at this. In terms of composition, there's too much negative space, okay? I want you guys to focus in more like this. So that's the first point. Everybody understand that? Okay, in terms of composition, little or no negative space. You still have the same, make sure you have the three kind of edges. If they're there, you might not have any hard edges in yours, okay? But he does. He's got some hard edges, especially where maybe there's like a sharp, kind of crispy, folded, iron creased edge there, right? There are some harder, kind of sharper edges. But everything else is soft or, again, no edges, right? No edges. You can just feel kind of the soft dipping in and out movement of the fabric. Full range. It's got to have full range value, so it's got to have white somewhere, it's got to have black somewhere, okay, and all the grays in between. And this is, again, throughout your life as you're drawing. You should always have full range. Again, do you have to have even amounts of those values? No, right? You decide. You decide. These, I brought in all kind of three. You know, we have a really high key fabric, right, because of the white, and this could be high key or middle key, and I brought that kind of brownish one in the back, which you could go low key with that. So it's up to you in terms of the mood and the key you use, but it's got to have the three, the full range value. White, black, and grays. I also want to point out that most fabric folds are going to be in a diagonal or a slight curve. I meant to point that out as I was gesturing and drawing. You can see how they're, just because of gravity and the nature of fabric, they're usually going to be, see all the angles. So you just have to decide what kind of angle, how much of an angle this fabric is moving in. Sometimes I let the fabric flow, sometimes I pinned it up to create other kinds of movements, right, for you guys. So everything is kind of in this diagonal. You're not going to have probably many verticals in this. And the other thing I wanted to show you is you get this kind of cone or triangular shape lots of times in the fabric. Again, because of gravity. Usually it's being held up here like a waterfall, and then it falls down because of gravity pulling it. So you're going to have narrow areas here and wider areas usually as it gets to the bottom. I also created, you've got different kinds of movement. You've got this gravity pulling it, and then you've got a puddling effect. I tried to create that in all of them so that the gravity stopped and it's moving now, instead of down, it's moving in another way, across. So that just gives you more movement, right? Just trying to create a lot of movement for you guys in this. So, you know, that's something to think about as you're drawing and as the light is hitting it. Remember the different planes. Depending on where the light source is, you can come up with a pattern of light. I know that my light source here is going to always be on the left. So I know that my darks are always going to be on the right side of the folds. I just know this from looking and knowing that the light source is on the left. Everybody see that? So the same thing here. Here, his light source, you can see, is on which side? The left or right? Or
Right.
Like in the middle there.
yeah, on the left.
Oh, yeah, left.
Okay, yeah. It's over here. You can see all the light tones, right? So the light source for him is over here. Okay. So you see all the darks where we're not getting any light. You can see the dark tones in the valleys. I like for you to think of them as landscape, like peaks and valleys. You get a lot of light on the tops of the hills, and you don't get any light in the valleys, right? That's where it's cooler. So it's the same thing here. Here the light source again is sort of in the front on the left. You can see the light hitting all the right sides of the fabric, and then all the left sides are dark. And the parts that are dipping in aren't getting light, so they're dark too, the valleys. So again, notice the soft shifts of dark to light. You don't see any hesitations or sudden